There is a thin divide between what is perceived as spiritual and paranormal, for they are forever entwined throughout time. Traveling within the history of the world, we can find examples of spirituality that involves everything from magic, spirits, gods and goddesses, and seers, or people said to be able to talk to the dead. We all have our belief systems and we all have our own truths. So come sit with Holly Jenkins and myself as we talk about all that and more. Welcome to Spiritually Paranormal. Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
I just sent you a message showing you a screenshot that doesn't run like where your house physically is, but it's just a little bit out in that lake.
Okay, I'll look at it later and be freaked out. So
Yep. We got to tell everybody what we're talking about. I was just looking on an app about ley lines to see where the nearest ley line was to Bear's property, and it ain't far. It's like right out in the lake.
Well,
right
in the water, it's not a big lake, so I'm sure it's closer than you think.
It's almost dead center of the lake.
Yeah, and that's not far. It's not even a mile across the other side of the lake with me. It's small.
There you go.
Water, what does water do? Water amplifies spirit, right? So I have aquariums in my home plus the lake. So yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna look over on this other thing where I sent you the picture.
Just for you all know, so you know a little bit of background, when I popped on just before we started, I was telling Holly about, I was watching, and she just said, stop watching it. But I was watching Skinwalker Ranch, and they've got one more episode, and they've actually found a black hole on the property. And then I was telling her about the show that's after it with the same team plus other people that went to the Navajo Nation and had a couple of their retired police officers come and talk to these guys and actually take them to a property and speak with a family who has literally been chased off their homeland from skinwalkers. So as they were talking about the skinwalkers, they described them with, I'm not even going to say because I said it before, but that they have antlers. I about fell off the chair because going back a while, if you've been following us, this is something that happened at my house. And then the show prior, like I said, was Skinwalker Ranch, and they were talking about ley lines and where they had like things light up on the mesa, and they put like lasers, like high power lasers that you can see to outer space, right? Like they can shoot them. They're very powerful. And they put on what they had a recording of was Native American spiritual drummers that came to the site and did ceremony. And when they had done it, the mesa has a circular spiral on top of it that was made by indigenous people. It lit up on the thermal. So when they put it on the laser and pointed it directly at that spot, I literally, before they said anything, I had the hair stand up on the back of my neck, going all the way down my right arm and right side, all the way down to my feet. And I was never have had anything like that happen. So,
I'm about to show you.
Yeah, it was kind of freaking me out. So, naturally. Oh, yeah.
See, the blue dot is where you are, and there's the ley line.
Oh, yeah. That's only about 20 feet off my house. Or 20 yards. I'm sorry, 20 yards off my house. That's still close.
Yep.
Lovely.
There you go.
So, she's just schooling me and told me I need to stop watching those shows. And I'm kind of thinking I might have to. I still, Holly, I have never experienced anything like that. Watching something, and it didn't scare me when I was watching, but I was like, what the? And it just went, I could see it going down my arms and that. It was just the weirdest thing I have ever experienced. I've experienced lots of things just like you have. But this took the cake, Well, this goes back to I had asked people actually in a group that I'm in, when you guys watch shows like crime shows or missing people shows, for people that have abilities or you not even have them, that utilize them, my question to them was, how many of you here, and like even like when Bex and Sean do their investigations and they have it on TV too, and you listen to them, I already know what they're going to say because I hear the people they're picking up. Is that like something, or is that just my head?
Yeah, no, it's not red.
Crime shows are like, there's some of them, if they're really super twisted, I hear from the victims, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to hear that. So yeah,
no,
I haven't been watching a lot of TV, but that was, yeah. Oh, here, what's this? What's this? Alka. Yeah, it is. It really is. So I get that. Yeah. Hi, everybody. By the way, I see Chucky's here, Margaret's here, Chloe's here, Cindy Pinkham's here. Who else is here? Alka, Jessica. Well, and you know who's missing again?
Ruth. I know. She's MIA.
So I don't know, but that's how I just started off with.
I know she was at the eye doctor earlier, so I don't know if she has got home yet.
Yeah. Did she tell you what she did?
I saw it. I did a video call with her. I saw it. I told her to put some
mirror on a truck.
I told her to put some castor oil on it because that castor oil will help break that up, help keep it from clotting.
Well, she walked into the mirror of a car in a parking lot.
Let me tell you a quick little story about how amazing castor oil is. So I watched this lady on TikTok, and I can't remember her name, but she's an older lady. She's a nurse. She's very, very popular, famous. And she talks about the benefits of castor oil and how it can shrink cysts and tumors and all kinds of things. It just gets rid of it. So Stacy, my daughter Stacy, she went to the doctor. She's been having a lot of stomach problems. She had 4. They weren't sure about what kind of tumors they were. One was a cyst on her ovaries, and they're big. They're like this big. That's pretty big.
Yeah, it is big.
And there were 4 of them. One down by her spleen, one around her pancreas, one on her ovaries, and the other one on her butt, where she had surgery when she was born because she had tumors on her bottom when she was born. So I told her, I said, put castor oil packs on it until you go to the doctor, which was like 3.5 weeks till she went to see the surgeon. So she'd been doing it, and she's just feeling super, super bad. And went to the doctor like 2 days before she went to the surgeon, and they did the ultrasound. They're gone, like gone, gone, completely gone.
That's crazy, but it's not, because we go back to the way people used to do stuff, and even like the Druids, the indigenous people, tribes over in the rainforest and stuff, they use natural things that we or pharmaceuticals have taken from these places to give us different stuff. That's awesome.
And these things were every bit this big. She had the dimensions. We were thinking that they would have shrunk some. They're gone. They're not there anymore.
And so what did she do? Just make them almost like an ice pack, but of castor oil. I mean,
right. Like you can buy these things. It's just cloth that has extra backing to it, so it doesn't seep through to your clothes. And you just put castor oil on it and then strap it to you wherever you need to put it. Like last night, I've been having some pain in my back, so past 2 nights I've been putting it on my back, and right now my back doesn't hurt at all.
Ooh, maybe I should get a bath of that.
So you want cold pressed castor oil. So I put that on. So she wore that every day for about 8 hours or so, which she overdid it. You're only supposed to do it for probably closer to 5 hours. And then, but in 3.5 weeks, they were gone, completely gone.
Well, I think if I had been in her shoes, I probably would be aggressive with it too, to put it on there as much as you could. So that's cool. Yeah. I'm glad she's doing better. That's awesome. That's like awesome. So everybody, today, that's It's all crazy. I just, yeah, whatever. So you start. We're talking about dreams, and actually, I've had over the past couple weeks, I've actually had quite a few clients of mine get hold of me because they've been having these very vivid dreams. And I always call them, like, you have that deep REM sleep and then you have the awake, and it's like in between. You're not really awake, but you're not really deep asleep. And to me, that's always representing whoever's coming through, they want you to remember this information for whatever. Right. So you tell us a little bit more about dreams.
Okay, so like Saturday morning, before I woke up, me and my husband got up early because we went on a road trip. We just were going to see old-fashioned, see where the wind took us. Had no definite plans, no hotel booked. We're just going to drive till we feel like stopping. But before I woke up, I had this extremely vivid dream. And so I wanted to talk about how you interpret your own dreams. You have to look at the things that are out of place, the things that don't match the other things, the things that are bigger than life, bigger than normal. So in this particular dream, I was in some building. I don't know if it was maybe a lodge or a resort or something, where there were other people staying there.
Yeah.
And most of the other people were older colleagues of mine that I've known for years, and they were all women, except for one, which was a younger male, and it's a friend of mine who is Nepali. He's from Nepal. Oh, hold on, that's going to buzz on my phone. I'll turn it on. There we go. Calls all day long.
There you go. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, I had a spam call. So anyway, so he was out of place. He didn't match everybody else. Like what's going? So that's something to pay attention to and to remember. So I went out for a walk and I went down the little slope, and right before it turned really steep, right on the edge, there was a little statue, something that was covered in vines. I uncovered it, and when I looked at it, it must have been a Hindu-ish type statue, because I went, oh, I've got to go tell Ram. So I ran back up the hill, ran into the place. Oh, wait, before I did that, I went on back down the hill, all the way down the steep slope. When I got to the bottom, there was intersecting that slope was a big, wide purple path. And it was very smooth, like it was paved, but it was very vibrant purple. Purple is a psychic color. And on the other side of that path was some more woods, jungly looking. And I was trying to look. I could see footprints, but I couldn't make out what they were. And part of my mind says, those can't be elephant footprints because there's no elephants around here. So then I ran up the hill to get Ram, and I said, hey, do you want to see something cool? And he's like, yeah. So he followed me down, and we got to the statue, and we heard something coming up through the woods. So we moved behind the statue out of the way because we had no idea what it was. And it was a big white elephant. And it felt very old and ancient. And it looked right at us and put its trunk on us, and it freaked him out for a minute. And I told him, I said, no, don't worry. It's not going to hurt you. Just, let it meet you and then go on its way. So it was a male and a female elephant, white elephants, and they were ancient. Right behind them were two figures, male and female. They were part human and part animal, but just a little part of animal. Like maybe their nose was weird, or they had ears, or their fingers were animal, just little parts of them. Then behind them was another couple of people, male, female, and they were eccentric looking.
Okay.
And it was so the little parade of them just went on up the hill and disappeared. And I think Ram followed. He went on up the hill after that. So I went on down back to the purple path. And suddenly there were people everywhere, like an old-fashioned bazaar, where people set up, booths in the street to sell stuff. So it's like the people were waiting till the elephants passed, and then they got to come out. So so what should I do about looking up the elephant thing? So first I went to my little witchy book of dreams, and it said, elephant is the biggest land creature that we have. And so is there something really big taking up space in your life right now? Yes, all these books that I'm working on. And so then I texted Rom as we're driving. I said, "What does the white elephant symbolize in your culture?" Because he was the thing that was different. And I took him to see it. So I thought that's who I need to find out. And he said it represents Ganesh. And Ganesh is about wisdom. Ganesh is a remover of obstacles and a patron of intellectuals, scribes, and authors. Every time I say that, I freaking get goosebumps.
Yep. Yep.
And I was like, holy crap. So then.
White, when the animals come in and they show us as white, it's all about our spirituality. And when they do show up, they are ancient because they do have things that they want to share with us. It's like the white buffalo, or, it's just an unusual thing that doesn't happen all the time. And it also, in some different cultures, like, well, the Indian, you said that Ram had said what it was, but it also represents like God, creator God.
Yes.
Things that come in as white represent a higher being, a divine energy that's trying to connect with you. So, yeah.
So that's not even the end of it. So we're on this trip, and the whole way, angel numbers, every time they're just constant. And we end up on Route 111 for most of the journey. And then when we get to the hotel after driving about 12 hours, you turn the TV on the hotel and it's that, the guide, and then there's a few channels that aren't really channels. Right. So the first channel it landed on was the Expedition Unknown. And they were in Central America, and they were digging up these pieces of this monument or something, and they put it together, and it was an elephant.
Yep.
I was like, what? What? Yep. And then, so then the next morning, we go stop at this flea market, and we're just walking around, and we don't see anything like that or anything. We're not looking. It's out of mind now. So Robert shouts at me from across this one part of the flea market, and I turn to look at him, and straight in my eyesight is this huge, like planter with an elephant sculpted on it. And in front of that was a plate that had the Masonic symbol on it. My husband is a Mason.
Oh, is he really? Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was like, what? So yeah, that's. I mean, it's constant. And I can't let go of the image of that elephant.
And it's almost like we can't let go of the message until we understand it, like the way we're supposed to.
Right.
And sometimes I have to kind of push clients or push people that I know. Even my daughter, she'll call me because she's a dream walker. I mean, it's in our blood. It's what she does, but she doesn't like it. She knows what I do, and she knows she can do it, but she doesn't want to do it. But when the dream state comes through, which I consider visions, she'll call, and they're very accurate about what's going on. And it's like, I want people, when they do have these dreams, try to sit and really look at your life. I don't mind helping people out. I know you don't mind helping people out, but it's really good if you discover it on your own. Because if you push it away and you don't deal with it, no matter what it is, it's going to keep showing up until you deal with it.
Right. Well, the thing about dreams is, first of all, like I said before, looking at the thing that's out of place or larger than life. Because that's the thing. It's larger than life, or it's out of place to make you remember it. So that's the message in the dream, whatever that is. And the significance is however it's significant to you in your life right now. So you can read all the dream websites and dream journals and books and all that you want, but it only matters how it relates to you and what's going on in your life at the moment. So you can't just take it word for word, just like, the tarot books and all that other stuff. You can't take those word for word. You have to relate it back to you. You're the dreamer. The message is for you.
Well, and that's the thing you're bringing up too, is tarot cards or oracle cards or whatever. One of the things that when you're using them, no matter what you're using, I don't like people to use books. I just don't. You have to use your own intuition and what it's telling you. they tell you so that you can understand them. It's like you said, same thing. It has to mean to you, right? Not
Right.
to everybody else. It could be like you could throw a card down and, you could use a playing deck. I knew someone that did that, just like regular cards, and she used to throw those. And however it means to you personally is what it means. It won't be the same for the next person. Actually, It's just like we were talking about the crystals and the stones. Just because I like one particular one, maybe that I use for protection, right? It might not work that way for somebody else. Right. Yeah, sure. You can pick up a book and you can listen and read, but it's what resonates with you. And that's why you have to do it yourself. You can get help with it, but a lot of it is you have to understand it yourself.
Yeah, that's right. And it's good to look at different sources as well to help you try to decode that dream and figure it out. You'll know when you hit it on the head. Like for me, when I talk about what Ganesh is about, every single time I tell that, I get goosebumps all over, truth bumps. So it's like, that's it. That's the thing. It's not all the other different meanings about elephants, but that one.
Also, another part of a dream, and I laugh because the same people will ask me, I'm trying to connect with my parents, or I'm trying to connect with a loved one, right? A friend or whatever. And they have dreams, they say, oh, I've had dreams. That's them connecting with us. That's a way that when we're kind of in that sleep mode, that they can come up and come into our dreams to share, to counsel.
It's a lot less energy for them to be able to connect to us through our dreams than it is to try to manifest in our awakening life. They have to use a whole lot more of themselves, a whole lot more of their energy to show themselves.
Well, we don't have our boundaries up because we're sleeping.
Right.
So a lot of the boundaries are down. So I kind of laugh because I had a person, and this was a while back, that said, yeah, I went to this spot and I saw my dad, and I said, and what did you do in the dream? Well, I sat down, was talking to him, and he was talking to me. Do you remember what he was talking about? Oh, yeah. And then the next breath, it's like, but I can't connect with him to talk to him. I'm like, hello. That's what
you were already talking to him. You were already connecting. That's right.
I love
it. People want to turn everything into this physical reality that is right here in front of us. They want to see him like I can see. I can see the cup.
Do it again. Do it again.
No, I'm not doing it again. But they want to see it like, here, the pen. Like we can see this pen, pick it up like you can pick up a pen. But, when they're in the spirit world, it's energy. It's not physical.
I also feel that.
About time, Ellen.
Our words kind of go in and out. Hi, Ellen. Our worlds kind of collide with other dimensions, that's how they'll explain it in science. Like we were talking about the black hole going in and out. It's kind of like, I think, and people say, oh, the veils that's a human thing. It's just, I think that a lot of us are becoming more aware of it. Right. And I think that the spirit world, which is energy, the divine, which, some people call the angels or whatever, it's like we're kind of more intermingling with them. So you have to be aware of that and stay open.
Well, another thing is it's our vibration. When you're on a very low vibration, all negativity and, whatever, then you're not going to have those experiences. You got to get out of that negative mindset, that negative place that you've put yourself, and vibrate higher. The higher you vibrate, the higher, what's the word I'm looking for?
Vibration?
Yep. There was another word I was looking for. The higher your own frequency, then you're going to be able to experience those other beings a whole lot easier and a lot better because you're going to be on the same or close to the same frequency.
You just have to open to it. That gets you into like meditation. I have some people, and I'm sure you've come across them, that say, oh, I can't meditate. I've tried meditating.
Oh, constant. That drives me nuts.
It isn't the same thing for everybody. Okay. I don't meditate. I'll sit and channel writings when I'm told to.
Right.
As a form of
When you're painting, when you're doing your sculptures, when you're doing all your things, you're
in
doing,
that zone.
you're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in that zone. So meditation can take a lot of different forms as well. And I laugh because these people say, "Oh, well, I can't do it." And when I was in Kay's class, watching and listening to everybody, she took them through like a meditation and they're all like, "Holy crap!" Because they saw stuff, like, you know, and it's because they're putting all that other stuff aside and they're just listening and doing what she told them. Now try this, right?
Right.
And I just kind of laugh and they're like, "Is this real?" And it's like the group I was with, we had 4 other people there. And I said, "Well, does it feel real to you?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "Then
all right, then.
You know, I can't meditate." I go, "Well, obviously you can because you just did it."
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. How many times have you been driving down the road and you get home and then you're like,
how did I get here?
How did I get here? Was that light red or green? Did I stop at the stop sign? Because now I don't even know if I did or not. You were in a meditative zone while you were driving. That's why you can't remember stopping.
Which is really scary because I don't drive anymore, but when I did and I used to go see the wolf, it was a 3-hour drive from here. I would not remember. Probably 45 minutes away from here was what I remember. The next thing I remember is I was pulling up in the driveway. And it's like, that's scary to me, but I made it. But it's like, oh my God, like, because you kind of zone out. It's like what they call daydreaming, you know? It's the same thing. Now, I can do it with certain forms of music. One of my favorite things is Patrick Lentz. He does Gregorian chants, like the old.
Yeah, I love those. Yeah.
Well, I found him a few years back, and I even used him when I was in the hospital, and it brings in like healing energy for you.
I would be interested in knowing what frequency his chants are.
Oh, that would be interesting. I'll have to check. I'll look.
You can download on your phone a frequency detector and then play it like on your laptop, and it'll tell you what frequencies that he's at.
Okay. Yeah, it automatically puts me into the zone, and I can hear him in the background, and it's like a hum, and you just go to that place, and it's actually, for me, that's when I channel divine energies. So, and I just found that out a few years ago, so I was kind of really conscious to doing it. I can also do it to Douglas Spotted Eagle, because he is a traditionalist with the flute and he uses the native tongue in his work and songs. Whereas some of the other ones, you know, they're really good. Like Nakai, I love Nakai. There's a lot of them I love, but it doesn't put me in that zone.
Right, in that place. Again, it would be interesting to compare the frequencies, because those frequencies, you easily go into that place on a specific frequency, I bet.
How can you tell, now for everybody watching, how can you tell what your frequency is? Is there a way to tell?
Well, like for you, since you are on that music puts you in that frequency, puts you in that state. So I will go check the frequencies of those sounds that you're listening to, because it instantly puts you in it. That would be really close to that frequency.
That's like white noise. Yeah. I have to have, since I was a kid, I've had to have a fan, a box fan on to be able to go to sleep. Even if I go other places, I can't sleep unless I have a fan. So
I can sleep, if that's what you want to call it, just about. But it doesn't matter to me if it's pitch black quiet or not, or if it's there's noise going on. But like my husband, if I put my meditation music on, he can't sleep to that, which is odd. Yeah. I'm like, it's supposed to relax you. But he gets his head stuck on the sound. But he can sleep through his own snoring.
Hey, well, you know, the good with the bad, right?
Right, right. The TV will be going. He can sleep. I mean, goes out just like that, just like a man.
No, I know other people that have done it. Yeah. So, when you talk about frequencies, and like I was saying, that's what they're kind of looking at out at Skinwalker Ranch. They were actually working with sound and vibration, and they were measuring it. And the vibrations that were actually coming up whenever they shot rockets into this black hole area, or they call it the triangle, but there's a black hole there, it impacted it, right? So it impacted, and it would show up on this graph. And it makes me think of, because when they show it before they do any of that stuff, it's just flat. It's just like,
yeah,
nothing, like nothing.
Another way, because you know how certain sounds will irritate the crap out of you. Like it might be other people will find it pleasing and nice, but for you, it's just irritating.
Yep.
So you could play around with different frequencies to see where you feel balance. You feel at home with certain frequencies. I would say that would be your frequency, or you'd be real close to where that is.
Is that the same as, like, I know when I'm on here and these two knuckleheads are chattering away, I know it drives you nuts. It drives Taylor crazy too. I don't hear it. It's like part of me.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me except when they get real close to the speaker and drown you out.
No, but I mean, it does bother Taylor. She doesn't like the noise. She'll come and sit on the bed. She can't stand the noise. And I'm like, what noise? And she's like, the birds. And I'm like, oh.
Ruth has missed half the show. What are we going to do with her? She's grounded.
Yeah. Ta-da! You got a blind patch over your eye now so it heals?
Yeah. She
missed how you're supposed to fix it.
I told her yesterday. I was on video chat with her yesterday.
Okay. Yeah.
So I told her whether she did it or not is a whole nother story. We know how she doesn't listen, and she likes to make her life more complicated and a whole lot harder, don't we? So,
I told her yesterday, and you guys can laugh or not. I told her, I think it was yesterday, wasn't it, Ruth? I told you that something else went missing in the house.
You know what you got to do. You know what you got to do.
My Minion cup, which is a thermal cup. I think, Ruth, you got it for me, actually. I think it is. But I had it one day, watched it, put it up on the rack, to dry. Went in there, put all other dishes up, and I'm like, where's my cup? And I'm like, because I fill it with ice every day and put water in it, and it stays most of the day. All I have to do is keep refilling it as I drink. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
Yep.
She found another cup, though, that would be fitting. We'll have to send it to you later, a picture of it.
Yeah.
She said, we need that cup. I
said, did the castor oil help at all, Ruth? I know you only did it one night, but.
Oh, what's this? Oh, the healing. Okay. Can you guys interpret your dream? Okay, we'll go back up. I found it. I know where it is. Hang on. She had this long thing. Hang on here. No, that's not it. It was in the beginning, I think. Here it is. Here you go. It's up. The black stallion in the dream really freaked me out because it was angry, violent, and a black stallion. Was that the guy that led to confusion in my life? Hang on. Now there's got to be. Oh, here it is.
She's relating a black stallion to some guy that caused confusion in her life. So this stallion is angry. I mean, how did the dream make you feel? Did it scare you? Was it, you have to look at how the dream made you feel. What is the message in that dream? Well, I think you need to stay away from whoever that guy is.
And did you see the first part? The guy that really had feelings for her at one time told her that he put his pit bull down because he would not listen to him. The dream that she had was he was the black stallion attempting to kill the pit bull.
Right. It just seems logical to me. Stay away from that guy. He's an asshole.
Yeah, I know.
You
You know,
know, that's a pretty traumatizing thing right there. You know, especially if you love and care about animals.
yeah,
To have somebody tell you that they put their animal down just because the animal wouldn't listen.
yeah. I just, people. It's kind, and I'm going to say this, and it's not necessarily about you, Elka. I'm just saying about this in general to people, and Holly gets it too. We have people that, and I don't anymore because that's not how I read, so people understand it. I think anyway. I haven't had anybody ask in a long time, but when we used to do a radio, especially, it was call-ins that would say, "Hey, I want to get back with my ex. Do you think I
Oh
can get back
Lord.
with my ex? What do you see for us? I really miss him." And it's like, folks, he's an ex for a reason, right? He's an ex for a reason, and if you think it's going to
Elka, stop responding to the man. I mean, come on. Block him on WhatsApp, block him wherever you are, stay away. Clearly he's not on the same frequency as you, and you're just going to keep complicating your life as long as you keep opening that door and letting this guy in. Period.
Well, and the big thing is, she's asking here, why do men play It's not only men, it's people
It's
in
people
general.
in general, yeah.
And they're
People in
usually
general.
narcissistic. So you need to like step away from him.
He's playing with you because you play back.
Yep. Do not, if you don't
Stop
want drama,
playing the game and he'll go find somebody else to play with.
Yep. If you don't want drama in your life, step away from the drama and keep it out. Don't engage.
Yeah, just because you've been invited to someone's drama does not mean that you have to answer that and go be part of it.
Yeah, and then don't know what to do when you are part of it. So yeah.
Okay, so Crystal has a dream. Oh, how do I highlight? How do you highlight that? There you go. She's had a reoccurring dream since she was a child. She's running in the woods from a smoky black and white mist that's trying to catch up to her. But when it gets close, it runs from her.
That's good. It runs from her. That's awesome.
Crystal, I would be interested in asking you, do you try to run away from yourself very often? Because that black and white mist could actually be your own spirit that you're running away from, or a part or aspects of yourself that you're running away from.
And when it gets close, it runs away from you. Could be the fact that you're not allowing things that you need to process into your life and you need to kind of look at and you haven't looked at. So it keeps coming and you keep pushing it away.
Elka, stop trying to read other things into it about that dude and just stop. Just no, block. Okay, block and delete.
Yeah, I have no problem doing that myself.
I don't give a crap if it was part of your past life or not. When he's got bad juju and he's bad for you, no. Bye, Felicia. There's the door. It's locked and shut, and you're never coming back through it.
And honest to God, this was actually in my divorce papers. And the judge looked at me and said, "Is this for real? You're saying this?" I said, "What part?" And she said that you're getting all the animals and the dogs, that it's in your divorce decree that he's not to have them. I said, "Yes." And she looked at me, she says, "Are you serious? Like, it's your, I said, "Yes, it needs to be in writing. He's not holding my animals hostage."
Right.
And I said, the only one that he will even see for the most part will be my daughter's dog, who is a white shepherd. I said, and where she goes, the dog goes. And she just looked at me like I'm nuts. And it's like, if people don't like animals or kids, you need to walk away because something's not right. And I'm not saying that everybody likes every animal. I'm not saying that. But if they have negativity that they're throwing at kids or animals, that's probably not your best bet.
No.
Just saying.
We'll go the other way and stop trying to make it like, one thing I absolutely can't stand is when they say, "Dear twin flame," and the relationship is terrible because we're twin flames and that's what twin flames do. Jesus Christ. the right person isn't going to create all these fears in you. It's not going to cause conflict. The right person makes you feel like you finally made it home. There's no struggle bus when it is the right person.
But twin flames, that's just a human name for something.
Yes.
And you know,
it makes me lose my mind.
You'll meet people all throughout your life that you'll be drawn to. They could be the same sex. They could be the opposite sex. They could be kids. They could be adults. They could be grandparent age.
All kinds.
Yeah. You'll find them and you'll resonate with them. But twin flames is a human word. Okay? Doesn't mean that, you know, you can look on you can look on Hay House. You can look it up on all kinds of other sites that do psychic stuff, and they talk about the twin flames and how they interact.
That's to draw you in.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you have a book on twin flames? Like, seriously, it's not a thing, guys. It's not a thing. Not a thing. It's a human thing.
And when you meet somebody that you resonate with, not only, it could be that you've shared past lives with, it could be, but hey, they could have been your mother, your brother, your daddy, your uncle, or it could have been anybody in your past life. It could have been somebody that did you wrong in your past life. Doesn't mean you're supposed to hook up and be together. It just means that you've shared lives together, so you already know each other's spirit. You already know each other's soul. You are acquainted with each other.
Yeah, that energy. I believe in that 100%. I've met people over the years that it was like, wow, we've known each other forever. And it's like forever in no time, all time. So yeah, that can happen, but that doesn't mean that you're meant to be a relationship with this person.
Right. And another thing is maybe you are both at a very similar frequency in your life in that moment. But, you know, moving forward, are they going to follow your frequency or not?
So many people that like to be narcissists, they play freaking games. And it can get ugly and it can get manipulative. And sometimes you don't even see what's happening. And like Holly said, it's because they're assholes. They're dicks, man. It's like, walk away from these guys. They don't. And usually they have a string of failed relationships because they do this with every person.
And their stories are always the same. The other person was crazy. The other person was batshit crazy. Yep. That's what happened. That's what was wrong. Yep. It's always the other person. It's never them. They never own their part.
Women can be the same. I've known women that do the very same thing. It's like, seriously? I knew guys. This always cracked me up. I went to, when I was in high school, it was an all-girls Catholic school. Okay, next to us was the guys' school, which was Notre Dame, right? And that was the male high school. And I had one classmate that went out with 4 different guys at the same time. Okay, and I was like, you're dating 4 guys at the same time? Like, seriously? She goes, yeah, I don't really know which one I want to say. And I realized we were in high school, but I have met adult women that do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, nah, you know, when you meet somebody, and I don't care if everybody denies it, I don't care, but this is my truth, and I know this is true. You know, if you're attracted to somebody within the first 10 freaking minutes.
Less than that. Yeah. Less than that. I mean, you know.
Either move it along, as Holly says, Felicia, there's the door, or you're going to stay and see.
If someone is trying to date 4 different people because they want to see which one they like better, they're trying to see which one they want to use more. Which one is going to be of more benefit to them? That's it.
Yeah. You have to trust yourself. And another thing I find too is some people will say, oh, well, you know, most of the things I really want them to be, you know, they have this little nagging thing that bugs me. You know what? It's not going to get any better. They're going to bug you even worse if you stay with them. So if it's not a complete fit, and I'm not saying, I mean, every relationship has stuff. You have to always work on relationships.
Right.
But it's a 2-part thing.
Right.
And you need to figure out how to do that. And you can't just highlight the good and forget all the shit that's laying around your house.
Exactly. People want to romanticize the past because maybe they had a tiny little moment with someone that was amazing. The rest of it was crap. They forget the crap and they want to recreate that really amazing moment. Guess what? That's in the past. It's never going to happen again. You've changed, they've changed, the day and the time has changed, and it's never happening again.
Well, here's something, and I'm going to ask you this, and I'll answer it too. If you could go back in time and talk to your 20-something-year-old self,
oh, there would be so much. So
what would you tell her?
I would say don't fall for it. First of all, don't fall for their little charm. Don't fall for their lies. Trust yourself. Trust yourself and believe in yourself. Because, you know, there were so many. The charmers, those are the ones that are the worst. They charm you so much, and they are so charming because that's their game. They have to have the honey to attract the bee. You know? They've got to be this flower to attract you. And when they get you, it's like the Venus flytrap, and you're screwed.
Yeah, it's control.
Control, right.
Control.
And then, you know, and I had an ex-boss that said that women that were in abusive situations were weak. And I was like, the hell you say? The women, it doesn't matter, man or woman, you feel like you are stronger than the abuse. So you stay.
I don't understand that. I don't understand the fact that he would even say anything like that. And even today.
Oh, it was a woman who said it.
Oh, Jesus. In 2023, women in the world outnumber men in the world. Yet the women allow the men to dictate what we can do, what we can't do, how we dress, how we act in the workplace, how we're supposed to be outside. I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
Me either.
It's like, get your head out of your ass, you know?
Yeah.
Get your head out of your ass. You're worth something. Everybody has worth.
Yeah.
And if you're in a situation with somebody and they're telling you, you need to do this, you need to dress this way, I said the other day, I actually made a post about it. I said, if I could take a walk back into the 80s, I would sue the hotel chain that I worked for, and I was a human resource director back then. I would sue them because I had whistleblown. I was a whistleblower because our manager of the property said they didn't want, and he used the N-word, running his front desk office. And this was in a business, like the heads of the departments. And there were two of us that looked at him and said, "What did you say?" And he repeated it.
Wow.
I called immediately to headquarters. I challenged him at the hotel, and he suspended me for 2 weeks and made me get off the property, which I was already calling headquarters. And I would go back at night, and we were pulling everything, like reports and all this kind of stuff. They came into the hotel system, and they sent, like, I want to say scouts, like little ant workers, to come in and kind of see what was going on.
Yeah.
And this one, he had the sales manager come up to me. Now, mind you, I don't wear heels because of my knees and my back. Plus, just who I am now, I wouldn't do it. But back then, I would have, but I couldn't. So I had really nice loafers. They were expensive. They weren't cheap. And I had slacks, and my clothes were Ralph Lauren and Calvin Klein. I always look good. They came back, and the sales manager, he told her to tell me I needed to wear skirts to work and wear heels, right? Which was really kind of interesting because his dress shoes that he wore had holes at the bottom of them. You could see his socks, right? But when I think back to that, because that's not where the world was at, I would have sued him. I would have owned the hotel chain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, women, we need to wake up. It's 2023. Get with your shit and don't take this stuff from people. I don't care. Again, I don't care who your partner is or what relationship. If it's work or personal, you don't take shit from anybody. You just don't.
You don't have to. You really, truly don't have to. A lot of people will say, well, they're stuck, and they allow themselves to get financially stuck. There are options, even if you're financially stuck. You may not like them, but I'll tell you right now, if you get yourself uncomfortable for a minute, you'll get comfortable real quick. You'll get yourself, your whole life rearranged really quickly to get back to being comfortable, but without the ass.
I laugh too at, I'm happy this is happening now, that sexual harassment is really out there. And it's from both sides. Again, it can be
Yeah.
from the women, it can be from the men. But when I go back again to the 80s and 90s, that was like a regular thing in our jobs. And who do you report it to? A guy who's your manager. It's like
I've had men touch me inappropriately, rub their hand up and down my back, and I have to jump away out of the way. I had one guy that would, twiddle his tongue at me when I would pass him, and he was like a department manager.
Yep.
Like, who do you think you are? Why do you think I like that?
Yep.
And what do you think that's going to get you? It's disgusting.
That's why I like where they're at right now, and people are like, the younger generation, I would say 30s, 20s, 30s right now. It's like they don't have an idea what we went through to get it to where it is now.
Yeah.
And I just look, a matter of fact, I had this discussion with one of my friends. She says, my girls just don't get it. I said, oh yeah, what they're talking about ain't crap. Mm-mm. I mean, ain't crap. And it's like, yeah, then I look back too, and I don't know if you are, but I was a whistleblower for that crap my entire life. I did it at hotel system before I got to the one with the asshole manager. I did it in the hospital. I look at all these places and I'm like, yeah, I called out all these people because they're wrong.
Yeah.
And if you take it, what's it saying about you?
Right.
I didn't mean to get on that tangent, but it is. And thank you, people, for bringing that up to us and getting me.
Yep. Somebody was meant to hear that today.
Yeah. It's just.
You don't have to put up with it. There are options. Will it be easy? No one said it was easy.
No.
But there are options.
I had a doctor up here when I worked at this hospital up here, who was sexually harassing and actually had raped a couple of the nurses that were on his staff. He sexually assaulted them in the OR. He had been a doctor. He was actually an OBGYN for years up here in this small town. He came in and sexually harassed. He didn't know I was on the other side of the room in my desk. He zeroed in on my coworker and started grabbing at her and stuff. And I got up and I pushed him away and he stood up and he went like by the door and I opened it. I said, get the F out. And he goes, no, I don't. And I slammed the door on him. I got her to go down to the state police office. We reported it first internally. Then she goes, I can't do it. I said, you can do it because he's doing it to more people than just you. I will go with you. Yeah. We had a winding up of 14 nurses that came in and gave their statement to the state police. We wound up taking them to court. Everybody in the community turned on these nurses. They said, he's delivered more babies. Oh, he would never do that. And we actually had found, and one woman stepped up because she was a patient of this particular guy. And he lost his license and he went to prison and he's out now, but he's in Mexico and he is practicing again in Mexico. I don't care about that. But people in the community looked at him like, you're sluts. Why is it that women are sluts when men do these piggish things and vile things and they're fine? Oh, they can do that. They're just men. They're just men.
Yeah, yeah. Well, men, that's just what men do.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Where does that come off? So yeah, if you're really in a position, you need to think of yourself. And that's why we talk about too all the time. You need to take time out for yourself. You need to heal.
You are important too. You have value as well. Don't let anyone make you think you don't have value, whether it's in a romantic relationship, family, friends, or in a work relationship, whatever it may be. You have value.
Yeah, this is true. Our school, Lorraine. Yeah, our school uniform girls were only allowed to wear skirts. That was the way it was in my high school.
They're short skirts. The schools that make girls wear uniforms, the skirts, they're short as shit.
Well, ours weren't. Ours had to be to our knee, but when we got into school, the girls all rolled them up so they were short, like they rolled them at the waist.
Yeah.
I never had them on. I would put it on to come in because I went by the office, right? And the nuns are up in the front office. As soon as I got to my locker, I put my jeans on.
Yeah.
My jeans were under my skirt. So if I had to, and they used to call me out on it all the time, I go, I got my skirt on. Well, you're not supposed to have jeans on. I go, okay, but I've got my skirt on. So like my mom used to just look at me and like, I just can't. So, yeah, we used to wear them too. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. So yeah, Margaret, what is this? Yeah.
I had one of those husbands as well. He would say I was nothing without him. Well, look at me. I'm something all right without you.
Yep. See, and she's you should see her artwork. She's actually displaying it now. She's got it up displayed over by her, and it's up there for the whole month. So I'm very, very proud of her. She's
awesome.
doing really well. Yeah. You know, whether it's a male or a female, you know, whoever it is on the other side that's bashing you, their lives must be pretty pathetic, and the way they feel about themselves, they don't have a lot of esteem if they're bashing other people to feel good.
They are the broken ones. They are the broken ones.
It's just not healthy. It's not healthy for anyone. So you need to take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you have to take time out, like even there was one of our people that are on here all the time, she mentioned yesterday that, you know, when I was doing readings and stuff, she goes, you know, I never really thought about it that way. Everybody wants. I give, and then I got nothing left. So you have to give yourself that permission to say, okay, I'll get to this and I can help you, but right now I have to do me. Yep. And I think that's really difficult for a lot of
people. Need to understand it's not selfish to put yourself first.
Nope.
We've been taught and raised in a way that people want to make you feel like if you put yourself first, you're being selfish. It's not selfish at all. You really, you have to for your own mental health.
Yep.
And your own well-being.
Yep. And if you're not paying attention to yourself, what happens is the little in the fairy, they come and they take stuff out of your house.
What did you say? The what?
People and the little things that fly. Oh, and by the way,
go sing out at the lake.
They're probably a black hole out by the ley line, and they're all coming in and out over
in and out, all the creatures and all the critters and every bit of it.
Yeah. Yeah, not good. Well, I'm sorry we got a little off topic.
That's awesome, Margaret.
But I think, you know, we've all kind of put our 2 cents in, right? And, you know, so like you said, somebody was meant to hear it. I think I brought this up to somebody earlier today. I think for some reason, and I don't know why, a lot of people are in the same place where we're reviewing our lives, like going back and like looking at people. And when we started talking about dreams, the dream I had 2 nights ago, I had my mom, my dad, my brother that passed in 2020, and my other brother, who's the last sibling. We were both adopted, but I haven't been able to talk to him in years, like probably since 2004. And he was in this dream and they kept pulling his hand. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. This means he's in a bad spot. And I need to try to find him again, right? Because everything they had us in an old, well, it's old now, in a mall that was in our neighborhood that it doesn't exist the way it did now. But we were walking through there and they kept trying to pull him. And my brother kept looking at him and said, you need to get a new set of clothes, right? And I'm thinking, oh yeah, they're trying to pull him. away from here. So I did digging, and he's in trouble. He's in a lot of
Oh, wow. Wow.
So he's an alcoholic. He's
Mm.
been an alcoholic most of his life. He was a head chef, was doing wonderful, and for like over 30 years. And he worked for a gentleman that was opening chains of restaurants in Washington State, all over Florida. And the guy let him go because he turned into this huge alcoholic. And I know why, and I know what happened. I can't get in touch with him, but I have talked to the sheriff's department down there, and they know him by his first name. So that's not good. Okay?
No, not good.
So you need to pay attention to those dreams when they give you messages, and you need to really look at those messages because you never know what it's going to be. It can even be a blessing.
Yeah.
It can even be a blessing that's coming in.
Yep.
So, but you really have to pay attention because that's what they're doing. They're connecting with us.
That's right. They say it, you don't remember your dreams, but the messages is what you do remember. So if you remember it after you woke up, that's a message, not a dream.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we've had fun. A little bit of fun.
Farewell.
It's always good, right? All right. So, and with that said, I'm going to tell you guys, have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Same place, same
Same time, same back channel.
Bye.
Bye.